on the Texas A&M Sports Network. From Learfield, welcome to the Coach Jimbo Show, presented by Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better. Also brought to you in part by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. And by Bud Light, it's for the fans. Now, welcome to the Coach Jimbo Show.
Howdy, and welcome to the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show, presented by Capital Farm Credit. I'm Andrew Monaco. We are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road in College Station, where we are every week with the head coach of the Fightin' Texas Aggies. Still plenty of time for you to come down and join us as we talk Aggie football for the next hour. So glad that you are with us all along the Texas A&M Sports Network. Perhaps you're streaming on the Texas A&M Football Facebook page or joining us on the 12th Man mobile app. However you're joining us, we are so glad you are with us. We will look back at the week gone by, the bye week for Texas A&M, or as Jimbo Fisher calls it, a get better week for the Aggies, as they prepare for their next opponent, the Auburn Tigers, coming off an exciting win over Ole Miss last Saturday. Aggies are ranked number 14 in the college football playoff rankings, one spot ahead of them. Saturday's opponent, Auburn, should be a good one. 2:30 the kick, 1:30 for our St. Joseph Health pregame show. We have the head coach, Jimbo Fisher. We've got your questions. We'll look back at the week gone by, and we'll look ahead to the Auburn Tigers. That's all straight ahead. The Jimbo Fisher Radio Show, presented by Capital Farm Credit. Stay with us. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Madden fans, the Level Next Madden National Championship Esports Tournament is streaming now and is sponsored by Unilever, which will donate 1 million meals to Feeding America. Watch the best college student Madden players compete for $100,000 in cash by watching on Twitch. Just search Level Next GG. It is the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show, presented by Capital Farm Credit. We are at Rudy's, and the head coach of the Fightin' Texas Aggies, Jimbo Fisher, alongside and coming off the bye week, Coach, and I teased it off the top. You like to refer to the bye week as a get-better week.
No doubt.
Did this team get better?
I think we did. We'll find out. I mean, hope we did. We practiced well. I think we're making a lot of progress in a lot of areas. A lot of younger players are getting better. Got a lot of reps. And the guys cleaned up some things. You know, you get during the season, sometimes you get the individual time, but when you ain't got to worry about that game, you can take 3 days and really work on those things, and hopefully it will. That's going to be the key to us finishing strong. We got a heck of a schedule down the road.
How much did you want your players to get away and then come back focused?
Well, I did. I mean, you got to get away and you got to break. Because, 8 weeks and not just the physical strain, the mental strain. People don't understand how intense it is to prepare and the level at which you practice. Because people say, all right, we're going to practice, but you play at a different level. No, you don't. If you practice, you're creating a habit, good or bad. So you got to be intense, focused, and you got to build that mindset as you practice. Because you're either practicing it perfect or you're not. So which one's the habit you're going to create for Saturday when you got to pull it out? And so it's a hard week, and it's a hard time each and every week. So getting a few days away is huge. It was huge for me.
You did get a chance.
Oh, yeah. We weren't recruiting. We had our recruiting Thursdays and Fridays and all that stuff. But then, Saturday and a little bit of Sunday. And we went at 1:30 like we always do. Get everybody go to church and everything on Sunday. And then we come in at 1:30. But they had Saturday off and got some time away.
You got it cleared as well, don't you?
Huh?
You've got to have that time to yourself.
Oh, well, you got to.
Do not?
I used to not think you did, but as I get older, I think you do. No, but I mean, it makes you better. I mean, it clears it. It makes it, you hit that restart button and get that energy back up, and you realize you do miss it, because after about 2 days, I'm going, all right, what am I going to do?
Let's get back, right?
Let's go. Start pulling out the film, start watching it.
That's exactly right. And on last Saturday, you had your next two opponents playing against one another.
Oh, we did. So we got to watch that game a little bit, and it was a great game. I mean, really good game.
Two teams playing really well.
Oh, they're both, like I say, Auburn's playing tremendous right now. I mean, they're running the football. Bigsby is tremendous. Their offensive line's gotten better. Receivers are making plays. Bo Nix is playing lights out, running the ball, throwing it, making great decisions. Quarterback runs, scrambles, throws. I mean, everything he's got to do. Defensively, they're being very opportunistic. They get tackles for loss. They create space. Linebackers covering ground. Rush guys, T.D. Moultrie and them guys are back. They got tons of ability to create pass rush and negative plays, and the secondary can cover, and good corners and safeties. I mean, their kickers are good. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good football team all the way around.
They're playing their best right now. A&M playing its best. You always say what you do in September and October makes
November. They remember November. You remember November. November puts you in position. December and January really matter.
Yeah.
And you got to put yourself this first 2 months, get ready for November, be a contender, be in there where you're at. And we still have a lot of hope, and we got a lot of things we can play for. And there's a lot of ball left.
Everything that's in your hands, in your control.
Exactly right. You got 4 games. You play it. You'd be surprised how things turn out. I mean, you'll be very surprised out there. And there's a lot of football. A lot of people got to play each other, and a lot of different things can happen. And you control what you can control.
I find it interesting, these two opponents on Saturday, they didn't let their losses define their season. They bounced back and really improved to this point.
You got programs. You got culture in your programs. And, guys, there's fight in them. There's character in them. There's heart in them. And there's good coaches in them. And, you're battling, and we'll find out what's going on.
A&M coached by a former quarterback. Auburn coached by a former quarterback. Daryl Dickey, former quarterback. Mike Bobo, former quarterback. You got some offensive minds.
Yeah, they do.
Saturday,
Guys, and most quarterbacks are very competitive.
We've learned that from you. But that's interesting that here's another coach, first or second year. It's the first for Brian Harsin, and we've talked about coaches in the past, and kind of went outside than what Auburn has done in the past. They bring in Brian Harsin. Really seems to be a nice fit.
Right, he was at Boise. He did a great job at Boise and where he's at. And Boise's a great program, played a lot of big-time programs, won a lot of games, and knows how to coach. I mean, the guy's done a great job over there. I don't know him personally, but I'm a fan of his as far as what he does and how he does it, and his teams are coached very well and they play very well.
You talked on Monday about Mike Bobo being with him, a guy who has been in this conference.
Played in it, coached in it, been a head coach at Colorado State, did a great job as a coordinator at Georgia for years. Dad was a high school coach, South Georgia. I mean, he grew up, he's grown up in it. A great guy. He's a great guy and a heck of a football. I mean, he really knows his ball. He schemes you well, does everything. Derek Mason on defense, same way.
Yeah.
I mean, Derek's a heck of a football coach. I mean, he really makes you work to get a game plan going for what he does, and they got a great staff.
I just find it, those matchups become fascinating because it's Mike Elko on defense against their offense, and with the way this defense has been playing. You were asked on Monday during the media availability, can you coach confidence? And I thought to myself, when you get guys prepared, that's where the confidence comes, right?
Being prepared and being able to do it, knowing you got the answers to the test before you take the test, that's what gives you confidence. You go out there and do it. But they can instill. They feed off your confidence as a coach. They have great respect for you, and knowing that somebody believes in me. You know what I mean? If they believe in them, then that's part of that confidence too. But at the end of the day, to really have true confidence, you got to go do it yourself, and you know. That's the easiest way I can say it. You know. Nobody's got to tell you. It's like I tell a player, if you're a great player, you ain't got to tell nobody. They'll all tell you. Everybody will tell you you're a great player. It's like when you know you can play, I won't have to tell you. You'll be able to tell yourself.
And now the payoff of why camp was so hard and practices have been so hard.
And the grind and you get better during the year and the way we practice and the way we put. Listen, you don't win because you want to. You win because you train to. You revert, in those tough situations, you revert to your training, and your habits come straight out. So you either got championship habits or you don't.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The fascinating one on Saturday between Texas A&M and Auburn, 2:30 at Kyle Field. It's going to be full on Saturday as well, which is going to be yet another great atmosphere at Kyle Field. 2:30 for that one, 1:30 with our St. Joseph Health pregame show all along the network. We'll continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. Stay with us. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Barker's Heating and Cooling, proud to be the official heating and cooling provider for Aggie Athletics. Earning your seal of approval since 1979. A lot has changed since then, but our pride in Aggie football and our commitment to providing great service remains as strong as ever. Gig 'em, Aggies. Aggies and Auburn on Saturday, 2:30 from Kyle Field. 1:30 with our St. Joseph Health pregame show. We continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. It is presented by Capital Farm Credit, and we are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. We touched a little bit on Auburn, and I found something fascinating, and I'm going to share with you.
Oh, here we go.
John Samuel Schenker, 5 catches, 102 yards, a tight end against LSU. The last time a tight end had over 100 yards.
I can tell you. Andy Fuller, 1994 at Florida.
You beat top-ranked Florida. Yep.
We were on a 16-game winning streak. We were a 16-game winning streak and lost, and we're a 17-point underdog. How about that? We won 16 in a row. Went 11-0 the year before, and 6-0, and beat them down there. Matter of fact, we knew who the quarterback was.
Patrick Nix.
Patrick Nix, Bo Nix's daddy. And we took a 2-minute drive, hit Frank Sanders on a smash route in the corner. To beat them 36-33. We flipped a couple plays, made a couple plays up on the sideline in the last drive. Had to flip and get a 4th and 10, converted it, flipped them in the boundary, hit a comeback. and got down and hit another corner and had a smash route. And I'll never forget, they were in zero, and they had a little short safety. It was real short, and they were going to bring all-out blitz, and they had Frank Sanders, who was our first-team All-American, great player. I'll never forget, he looked out there in the slot, and Patrick was about to get the ball, and Frank's right there in the slot waving. He's going. He started pointing at the guy guarding him. He started pointing at the guy guarding him and said, throw it here, it don't matter. He threw it up in the corner, and we caught it, being 36-33. That's a true. 1994.
1995. I had it because I was talking with the Auburn guy, Andy Burcham, and he said he was talking about how both teams utilize the tight end. He said, "Here's a stat for you." And the tight end, you've always had one.
Well,
you've coached, haven't you?
Well, I mean, you got to work. See, if you can throw the football, you throw the football between the hashes. You got to be able to attack the middle of the field. I call the heart. If you do not attack the heart of the defense and understand how to work inside out, people can take. I don't care how many great players you have outside, they can take them away, and it's over the top. And the throws become less percentage. And the guys who really understand how to throw it and can read and play, they can throw the ball in the middle of the field. That's why young quarterbacks have a hard time. And when you got a great tight end and you can start there, it makes your wideouts better. I mean, makes your backs better, makes everything, and it starts inside out.
So it's not just Jalen Weidemeyer, Max Wright, Baylor Cupp, Eli Stowers can all do that, but you also have wide receivers that aren't afraid to go between those hashes.
You better. If you're going to make money playing this game, you got to catch the ball between the hashes. Yeah. And that's where the great ones play, and they got to be able to do it.
That's what makes a nice.
Well, yeah,
for example,
the toughness, the competitiveness, and ability to, and you got to understand how to get open because there's a lot of moving parts in there. When to sit down, when to accelerate, when zone man, how to separate all the different coverages of what you got. You got to create space in there, and that takes a lot of knowledge.
When you go up against two linebackers like Owen Papo and Ricochet Rabbit,
McLean.
Is his nickname, yeah,
Jacoby McLean. I recruited him out of high school. He's out of Valdosta, Georgia.
They go sideline to sideline.
They can run. They're athletic. They're instinctive. They both come from great pro. One's from Atlanta, one's from South Georgia. I mean, very instinctive, great players, can run, cover, hit, do, and play everything. But
your tight end can take advantage of mismatches, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to make them play, and then if that gets them out of somewhere else and open it up, and hopefully they're not 6'5", they're 6'1"ish guys, but you still got to have size advantages, but they still know how to play, and it'd be a great challenge in there.
Flipping to the other side of the football, the transition of the nickel as opposed to a fifth defensive back to almost that hybrid linebacker and safety type position, that's really grown in football, hasn't it?
The game is becoming almost positionless. It's become like basketball. When did 6'11" guys start shooting threes? 7'1" guys shoot threes, and the little guys go in the line. I mean, the games have changed in athleticism and the development of players because it's year-round, the training, all those types of things. And the game has become that. All right, can he cover, can he run? Okay, if he is he big enough? Now you got these big receivers, big tight ends. You put them on little guys, they can cover them, but they can't stop them. It's like in basketball, you can shoot over them. Well, then you got to have bigger guys or athletic guys, and so you're constantly matching people across the board, just like you do up front for rush guys on third down to create rush and things you do. You're creating matchups, and and guys have to be able to play inside, outside, in the slot, cover outside, or play inside as receivers too. And that's the way the game's becoming.
Those defensive ends, they're sometimes longer. And you talk about that bend. Can you bend?
Can you sink those hips and turn the edge and get the hits? Because you can run all day if you're stiff, and they can push you on by. You got to be able to bend, get low, drop that hip, create leverage, lift that big tackle, and create that space and change speed to power. Be able to make them get back on speed, and when they get there, change power and overpower them and press the pocket, which we're going to have to do a great job of this weekend because you go run up the field, Bo Nick's going to kill you. You got to create that. You got to bend that edge. You got to create speed to power, collapse the pocket, collapse things, and put the walls around him.
You talk about inside and outside. If we talk on the offensive line about Kenyon Green making himself valuable by playing different positions, is DeMarvin Leal doing the same thing?
You play in, you play tackle. I mean, you create matchups that can rush. You know what I mean? Or they can't block you in the run game. And having that versatility to do both is all it does is add value to you.
And then on that inside, we've talked defensive tackles before, but you get to rotate a good number of defensive tackles.
You do, and you got to play fresh, and it's hard in there, man. That's a physical game, and it's banged. You're getting doubled, you're getting banged, and keeping that fresh rotation, be able to get to the fourth quarter with the right guys is very important.
He's Jimbo Fisher, head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, taking on Auburn on Saturday. We'll continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. It is presented by Capital Farm Credit. Stay with us. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. The new Brookshire Brothers across from Kyle Field was built for Aggies. There's a bar serving coffee, wine, and beer, a full-service pharmacy, and great values on groceries. You'll love their grab-and-go meals. Only at Brookshire Brothers, so much more than a grocery store. We continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. Questions are coming in on Facebook. Thanks for watching, streaming there. we're going to get to football. Coming off bye week, to football, so this is going to be the lighter question. What was your go-to costume for Halloween?
Oh, no. This year, I didn't.
When you were younger, what was it?
I was something different every year.
Was it?
There was no go-to. There was something. We did something different by theme or whatever happened every year.
Okay.
I mean, it was a big contest at school. You know what I mean? You had to contest. And my grandmother always made them. My mom's mom always made big costumes for us every year. And we won them. We won it mostly every year.
You were even competitive in that contest.
It was at 1976. It was bicentennial. I dressed up as George Washington. I won it. Yeah, it was 1976. And did all kind. One time was a big like a complete ape suit. I mean, all kind of stuff. That was right around the time that I think King Kong was moving. All that stuff was coming around. There's all kinds of. All kind of stuff.
That's why you love it to this day, Halloween.
Yeah, I
correct?
love Halloween, and the ability just to have kids and watch the smile on their face when they say trick or treat and give them candy and all that type of stuff. I mean, I love that stuff. I mean, I don't know. Kids get to be kids, man. I mean, just enjoy your life as a kid. We want them to grow up so fast, and want them to do this, and want them to be. No, go mess up, go tear something up, go break a window or a vase at the house, and throw a ball in the house and break. I broke everything and available. Windows, vases, I knocked everything over. We throwing ball in the house, playing all the time. Got in trouble, kept on doing it.
You started going through that string, and I'm thinking Jimbo's just going through his memory of what he did growing up.
As a kid. But one thing my parents did, I was strict, I was right for wrong, but they let me be a kid. I mean, you didn't have to be a robot. You know what I'm saying? The right was right, wrong was wrong, but there was some giving and fun, and, it's part of growing up.
You had to learn from the mistakes.
The memory. Don't you remember in the house when something was broken or the wood was scratched? There was a memory. There was something there there was a memory of you growing in your family and all those things.
Yeah.
Now I'm so prim and proper. Forget all that stuff.
No.
I'll tear it up.
No. Well, you grew up in a holler, though. It's a little bit different, right?
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot to tear up. And no one knew.
We talked about the sellout on Saturday in the atmosphere, and someone asked on Facebook, how does that affect the team?
Oh, it does. I mean, to know that those fans and the care and the juice and the energy you get coming out there, and then the constant energy to know that people are behind you when you're down and you're constantly hearing it and pushing you and challenging you to because they have so much pride in it. It makes you want to be. It makes you want to make them happy. Our players want to make them happy because they feel the passion from those fans. And now listen, there's no doubt they want those 12th man to be loud, but they want them to feel good when they walk out there and proud of how they played and the way they participated and the way we represented them.
Did this team grow up a little bit, Jimbo, against South Carolina? You said don't just depend on being home. They gave that energy to that crowd.
Give the 12th man the energy. Give the 12th man can't get on that field. As much as they can get you to do it, but you still got to go do it. And then the more energy and the better you play, the more energy they're going to feel, the more energy you're going to feel. It's a two-way street. You got to put it out there for them.
Wesley, class of 95, had you been to Kyle Field as a coach prior to coming to A&M?
No. It was one of the few that I had never been in. Most of them I've been in or been around or played in or something, but Kyle it was the first time ever.
Aren't you glad you're the home coach?
Oh, there ain't no doubt about that now. There's no doubt about that. I think it's as good a place to play as there is in college football. I mean, you say it because you're the head coach here, and they say, no, I've been in them. I'm telling you now. And there's some great ones out there. I get it. But I'll put it this way. I'm not going to say we're the best. I'll say we're the best. You can say I'm prejudiced or whatever it is because I work here, but at the same time, I can't think of any better. And they're just as good as anywhere else. I mean, it's phenomenal.
And you get to see the reaction of recruits who come in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the key. I mean, when they've been those guys and the guys we're recruiting been a little bit everywhere. The guys we're on right now, it's the top of the top, and they've been to all of them, and they keep coming back.
They keep coming back, and they will on Saturday when the Aggies take on Auburn.
A lot of them here.
A lot of them here. Let's put on a show, shall we? 2:30.
Right.
The Aggies and the Auburn Tigers, 1:30 with our St. Joseph Health pregame show. More questions for Jimbo Fisher, head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies. We'll continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP Aggie basketball fan experience this year. Go to 12man.com/maroon contest and register. One winner and a guest will receive game tickets, a VIP tour of Reed Arena, and will be recognized on the video board during the game. You can register today at 12man.com/maroon contest. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. If you remember, after the win over Alabama, the donations to the Kids First Fund, and we kept giving you the updates. Well, wanted to get one more. Just finished an event at Savvy Boutique. Jimbo, we are officially over $200,000.
Oh, my God. Wow.
$200,468.
Wow.
During bye week,
Wow.
Aggies didn't stop. They were donating $12.12 during bye week.
That does not surprise me one bit.
Isn't that fantastic?
I mean, it never ceases to amaze me. It really doesn't.
And was there a young girl who rung the bell last week? Some of this money, I believe. I think.
Oh, yes.
You talk about.
Wow.
And I don't mean to equate these. Please understand how I'm going to say this. You talk about giving out the joy for Halloween, right? And now you get a chance, all these donations, joy to somebody's life, and make that better. It's just amazing.
The chances to save lives and all the lives you're going to affect and all the people you're going to affect. And not only with Fanconi anemia, but with leukemias and breast cancers and the BRCA. I mean, it bridges into all those diseases, believe it or not. Yeah. And the research in this is the foundation of it all, and it's utterly amazing.
You've learned an awful lot. About the
too much,
right? Yeah. But that's your curiosity.
Well, the knowledge of it, and it's your opponent. You got to get all the knowledge. How you going to beat it?
Yeah.
It's just another obstacle in your way.
And the same thing with the doctors. You want as much information as you can possibly.
I want to know. I want to know offhand what's going on, how it's going to happen, and then we can make a plan.
You know, we talk every spring because most of the cities we go to on the coaches' nights are so generous. Usually their donation each of the cities, and you always give an update, and you say that they're making great strides.
Listen, I mean, it's like I say, 12 years ago, there's no hope. Now you're talking about they're thinking within a couple, 2, 3, 4 weeks, they have a chance to cure it. I mean, and do things with bone marrow transplants. They're not going to just affect that, but possibly eliminate them overall, and things that are going on, and the way they're fighting the different things. And a lot of this is coming because of Kids First, because we're allowed to create the trials, and they can get people started on things and prove that they can happen, and then they get the money from the government to advance it. And, you know, that's the way it starts. And it's unbelievable the advancements they've made, how close it is.
We've talked before about the core and the Be the Match and doing that. Your teams have done that. The same thing, that's selfless, right? Once people find out, it's like, hey, okay, how can I help?
Listen, everybody talks about the things that are bad in this world. There's a million more times good. There's a million more times. We always, because that's all the news wants to put out is all the bad. The good gets boring. They think they don't get the ratings from it and don't want to hear the shock value. But the people out there that are doing things and the way they're doing it, it's utterly amazing.
That is your update, and they had there was an event at Savvy Boutique today as well, so over $200,000, and we'll keep giving you those updates. Just absolutely fantastic. We will start focusing in on Auburn, the opponent on Saturday, when we continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. Stay with us. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Football and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood, and Rudy's smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs and 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. We continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. It is presented by Capital Farm Credit. Coach, question from Chad Valdez, who is watching on the stream. Just like college football, high school football in the state of Texas is huge. What amazes you of how the relationships of high school coaches are between you and them, the ones that you've established so far?
I mean, the genuineness of them and how much, just like us, they love the game, but they love the kids more. But they appreciate what the game does for them. Football's a very unique game. There's no way to cheat it. It rewards toughness. It rewards discipline. It rewards hard work. And there's no other way to have success. And I don't think there's a better thing that prepares you for life. I think it does as well as any game. And I played them all, too. I love every sport. I really do. But I think football is you get knocked down, you get up, you're banged, you're bruised, you're playing hurt. You go to work. Like I tell them guys, well, I don't feel good today. Well, all right, miss 3 days of work in a real job in the real world. See how long you got a job. Miss about 2 or 3 days a week when you don't feel good. See how long you got a job. Mm-hmm. I said, that things don't work. The standard of how you do things, like I said, standard over feelings. You know what I mean? And football teaches you that. And also teaches you can't do it alone. You got a responsibility to do it because you have teammates. You got an individual battle and you got your responsibility in your job, but you're doing it with your teammates. If your teammates don't do your job, yours doesn't mean anything either. And you got to do yours for them. And teaches you camaraderie, teaches you family, teaches you appreciation for the other guy, so many things. And I think that's the thing that amazes me. But the coaches all get that. We all love football, not just because we want to play football, because of what it means and what it does for kids.
John Davis, in a nutshell, John Davis is asking, what's been the difference in the attitude of this team from the beginning of the year to the last few games?
Well, I don't know if it's been the attitude. It's the knowledge. Mm-hmm. Attitude hasn't been bad. But, we had a lot of young guys that got put in a situation, and they didn't know they didn't know. And not only how to play, the level you got to play at, but how you got to practice, how you got to prepare. I mean, you're talking about starting 2 freshman linemen, talking about a new quarterback, you're talking about 3 receivers were out, you had DBs out, you had corners out. You got freshmen starting at corner, at right tackle, at center, making all your calls. A new quarterback making all your calls. Receivers, inexperienced receivers early with a bunch of young guys, moving guys. I mean, it hasn't been attitude as much as it has been knowledge and the acceptance of what it takes to play at the highest level of football in the best conference in the college football world. And that takes time sometimes. And, we had some setbacks because of those. Now, that's not an excuse. You got to fight through it. I don't care. But at the same time, and they didn't quit, and they just kept building on it.
Coach, last week on the recruiting trail, you ran into a future SEC coaching opponent, Steve Sarkisian. Are you excited for the opportunity to play them in a few years? And following up this, there's no name on this and it's printed. I almost feel like it's a ransom note. Did you get a chance to throw him the horns down?
No, I didn't throw him the horns down. Known Steve a long time. He does a great job. But, yes, I'm looking for – always have a rivalry, Texas A&M. That's one of the greatest rivalries. People say, well, why wouldn't you push him for it before? Well, if it helps A&M, I'm for it. But at the time, we were in 2 different conferences. We have to do what's best for us at the present time. But now we're in the same conference and get that rivalry back. I think it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, and Texas A&M in a much different position than when they came into the SEC.
Yeah.
Correct? A decade in this athletic department in general
yes,
has been something.
That's been a tribute to the administration, the things they built, and the 12th man and all the donors and all the people that support A&M. Yeah. They've built it to what it has to be and what it can be, and we still got a lot of work to do, but we're on the right track.
How excited is it when you show up to a high school or at a game? Is there a lot of excitement?
Yeah, there is. And not bad. And in the first when we got here, we have to go prove we can win. Now people like seeing us. We can win. They know they can have a chance to win championships here. They know they don't have to leave this state to go win a national championship. They can go get developed. They have the education you got here. You got the 12th man and the Aggie network behind you when it's done. People love seeing it, and it's been tremendous.
Now, when we come back, Philip has 2 questions for you. So you prepare as we said, a deeper dive into Auburn. Stay with us. The Jimbo Fisher Radio Show rolls on from Rudy. Then the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show is presented by Capital Farm Credit. Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better. Stay with us. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Know that queso practically flows through the veins of every Texan. And at Costa Vida Fresh Mexican Grill, queso is their pro-style offense. Costa Vida, proud to partner with Texas A&M Athletics. We continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show, presented by Capital Farm Credit. We are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. Philip, so he's got his homework done. We know that, right? 2 questions for you. Question 1, what will you be working on to stop such an agile quarterback like Bo Nix?
Controlling your rush, mixing multiple rushes, being able to be gap sound all the way across, make sure you're not running up the field too far and leaving seams inside. And when you're inside, not being pressed to pocket. Don't loop into an easy area and create a seam.
Where has he matured as a quarterback?
I think just his overall knowledge and his confidence. And like I say, you need saddle time. You're in the saddle, you're doing things gradually slow down for you. And I think he's always been a tremendous competitor, tremendous athlete, make all the throws. Run, tough, compete. I think the game's just slowing down. His decision-making is becoming better, which is allowing his athleticism to even show more.
It's one thing to be a coach's son. It's another to be a quarterback's son.
Oh, it is now. All the things and all the little nuances he knows. And he's been blessed. His daddy was a good one now. Daddy's a brilliant man.
Question 2. Auburn's defense has been great lately. How will you stop Auburn's defense?
Well, I don't know if we'll stop them. We got to attack them. We got to create seams. We got to create mismatches in different ways we do it. We're going to have balance. We're going to have to run the football. We're going to have to throw it. We're going to have to mix it. We're going to have to move the pocket and change the launch point for the quarterback. And I think with a lot of diverse personnel and formations. And I think you have to go that way to make people be honest. And they, like you say, they are a very good defense.
The last 2 games for the Aggies, both Isaiah Spiller, Devon Achane over 100 yards. You had success running against Auburn last year. Does that have any effect at all, what you did last year at Jordan-Hare?
Well, yeah, it does. It's a different defensive scheme, but the personnel is the same, and the guys, the physicality of them. But I think any time being able to run, you got to be able to run the football. There's going to be times in the game you got to run it short yards, you got to run it goal line, you got to red zone, tight zone, and you got to run the last 4 minutes of the game. Those are the times. The other times are based off numbers and what you can, but when you can run the football and you can create advantageous place for your quarterback to just relax, hand it off, make yards, do the things you do, get it to playmakers, and allow the play action game to open up, allow you to be heading down in distances. Just makes it a lot easier game to call and play.
And you have two of those playmakers.
Yeah, we do. And our offensive line and everybody and our receivers, everybody's doing a great job, and those guys are finishing and making long runs and with their ability. And our receivers and tight ends are doing a great job blocking downfield. And they are for each other.
That has been a key, right? When you talk about complete in any position, it has to be that as well.
It does. I mean, break that big run and you have chances. You get opportunity to score touchdowns, and you don't get a lot of them in a game. You don't know when they're going to come. So, man, you got to make those key blocks down the field with the line making them up front.
Yeah, and that offensive line really seems to be gelling.
They're getting better and better. They really are. Josh is doing a great job with them, and they're playing well.
Ian is asking, what can college football learn from other sports?
That's a great – there's 1,000 ways you could go with that equation. I mean, whether it's the playoffs or the system or that type of things in which you go. But I'm going to tell you what, I think it's the other sports learn from football so much. I still think it's the greatest team game. I really do. But I think the playoff system and the other sports have created some excitement in the way you do it. I mean, ours is going to expand. It's got to expand, in my opinion. I mean, look at the controversy you got already on the ratings. I mean, say what's right and what's wrong. And you're not comparing apples to apples. That's the thing about college football and the playoffs. It really make the argument and make people not understand. I mean, you're not playing the same types of teams. Mm-hmm. Everybody's not. And how your record is based off who you play, how you play, what goes on there. There's a lot of judgment and personal opinion in that. And I think when you expand it and you open it up, I think it will make those games, you'll eliminate a lot of those problems. Now, if you go to 16, 17, and 18 is going to be mad. If you go to 4, 5, and 6, it's going to be mad. If you go to 8, 9, and 10, it's going to be mad. But I think you eventually have to get to those levels to make sure you're getting the right champion and to try. And it's disappointing when you say for other teams, and I get their point of it, that we go, we're in the SEC West, and we say, listen, come play our schedule and see where your record is. And there ain't no doubt in my mind, like us last year, being 9-1, everybody else come play ours and see what you do. See if you went 9-1.
Yeah.
I know you wouldn't have.
No.
I watched them play. But at the same time, to sit there and say I'm going undefeated and I can't get in the playoff, that's discouraging too. I get their point of it. So, I mean, there's got to be a compromise in there somewhere to make it fair for everybody, and you're going to have to expand it.
Yeah.
That's the only – in my opinion, it's the only way you're going to do it. Whether you say more games, there's 1,000 reasons not to. There's a bunch too. And, listen, I was never an advocate of huge playoffs. I think I'm a traditionalist. And I think winning the Orange Bowl matters, winning the Sugar Bowl matters, winning the Cotton Bowl matters, winning the Fiesta Bowl matters. And we have forgotten that. You know what I mean? And it's all about the playoffs, which I want to win the championship. But, I'm not so sure the old BCS two-team system wasn't the best system.
1 versus 2.
I know that sounds crazy, but we're going down that road. I mean, you can sit there and argue it. I mean,
it's almost as if now, here's my problem. Almost now we're talking about number 5 and 6 and forgetting about the rest of college football sometimes.
And there's a lot of it coming. Just wait to the end and see where you play out. But I do get. I mean, the schedules aren't the same. People aren't the same. When you say go play it, well, I'm already playing this conference schedule. Why am I going to play 3 more tough games? Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you get it like an NFL system and it becomes the top 64 teams, and you find a way to round robin tournament and play games and have 4 major conferences, you're never going to get there. And I don't know if that's what's best for college football either.
Right. But you waited until you were 8-1 through the SEC, and then you banged the drum for this team last year.
I can watch film.
Yeah.
I know what good players look like. I know what good teams look like. And they can set in the political agendas to make sure it's all well-rounded across the country. We get teams up here and teams over here. And I get all that. I was told it's supposed to be the 4 best teams. We were one of the 4 best teams.
Yeah. And then you put that away, and then you said it again after the Orange Bowl.
Exactly right. Listen, don't do nothing. Just shut up and go play.
Absolutely. We'll continue one final segment of the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show presented by Capital Farm Credit. It's next. Stay with us. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. We continue with the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. It is presented by Capital Farm Credit. Our final segments of the show on this evening from Rudy's 504 Harvey Road in College Station. They have checked in as we have streamed on the Texas A&M football Facebook page from Pittsburgh, Texas, Brownwood, Corinth, Dickinson, Santa Fe, Houston, Brownswood, Flatonia, Channelview, Kaufman County. Ray Hendricks is the class of 75. He's checked in from Eureka, Kansas, Connecticut, Chicagoland, Chattanooga, Leaf River, Illinois, and, of course, the Constantinu family from Australia has checked in as they always do. The special teams in this one, Jimbo, to me it's always fascinating, and you've helped me with that, about not just the hidden yards, but when you have, we were talking about playmakers and game changers, you have that on your side. Auburn has a very good special teams.
They do. They got very good special teams and kickers. And I start with our kickers. I mean, Seth Ball's been outstanding. Constantino punting. Caden on the kickoffs and what he does with that, controlling field position. Then our return game, our snappers, Choate, and then, Anais and Chain and those guys. I mean, they all do a wonderful job, and we're blocking well and playing well and doing the right things. And they got them too. They got returners that can hit it and play, and we're going to have to cover them. We're going to make sure we're kicking. And part of covering is kicking the ball where it's supposed to be kicked and how it's supposed to be kicked, and getting in there.
When a team has to focus on that as well, right? Well, if we don't kick it away from Anais, he can make something happen. If we don't kick it away from Devon, that's got to be part of their preparation also.
Oh, it is, and how they're going to cover it, and where they're going to do it, how they're going to play it, and that's a big part of it.
I was going through updating the my spotting boards. I noticed they got bigger up front. This is one of the biggest teams.
Oh, yeah, they're really big.
Their
tackles and offensive tackles are huge. I mean, they cover you up and get on you, and they're playing well.
The lines of scrimmage in this, we talked in your office this afternoon, the lines of scrimmage, especially for Texas A&M, have been imposing their will. That's been a great change, and that's part of this team's identity.
Well, it is. It's going to be, if you're a great team, you're always going to be able to do that. You look in pro football, the guys that got offensive lines are the guys that win. You go to the Cowboys back in their day when they were great. I mean, that line they had, the guys up front, and Allen and Nate Newton and all those, Larry Allen and Eric Williams and those guys, I mean, they were dominant. And you had to go block to Reggie White because the other guys, listen, the defensive linemen in the world, it's hard to find great offensive linemen. It really is. There's more defensive guys like that. And in this league, if you look at the draft, they're eat up through the SEC. And everybody's got them. And if you can't do that in this league, you can't win the game. You can't win if you don't win up front.
And there's a reason why linebackers can make plays, because those guys in front of them.
Linebackers make plays, and backs make yards, and quarterbacks throw balls, and receivers catch balls. And I mean, like last year, you're talking about Mac Jones and those guys, but go back and watch how much time he had. And those guys running down the field at 4-2, 4-3, making those plays, and I mean, it all goes together. Yeah. The big guys let the little guys play.
Dave Elmendorf, my partner, he said playing behind the fearsome foursome.
Oh, my God. The group he played in front of when you're playing safety,
yeah.
Lord almighty. I mean, you never got by, and when you did, there was nobody to block you because it took 2 guys or 3 guys to block one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was one of the great fronts of all time. The team, I tell you what, those teams Dave played on, and they won the league every year. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. I remember that as a kid watching them, and the great teams they had with James Harris and Chuck Knox and Lawrence McCutcheon and Youngblood and Dreyer and Merlin Olsen and those guys. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah. He said that front four helped him in the back end. He said sometimes there was that coverage sack and there was that appreciation.
The ball had to come out on time, and if runs did come out, I mean, there was no extra blockers getting there because they had to double those guys. I mean, it made a big difference.
And for your defensive line, again, being able to rotate, Tyree has really come on of late. Michael on the other side, you're getting teams to
Michael
jump.
Leal, PV, get McKinley back in there, all those rakes. I mean, all those guys. I mean, it doesn't matter. You go through them all.
Darius,
Shamar.
Really
all
nice.
those guys are playing. It is, and you got rotation. You got to have them.
Yeah, and it's, again, I think I said last year when we were talking about Bobby Brown and how Buddy Johnson was able to make tackles, and you said he better be giving Bobby all that credit, right?
Because you do. I mean, the backers, you feed those D linemen. And if, like I say, if they can get single block and they can get guys off the second level, I don't care how good a backer you are, it's hard to make plays.
How has Edgerrin been? How has Aaron been?
They've all grown, man. They're all growing better players and understand how to fit and all the things that are going on, and it's fun watching them grow.
It's been fascinating. It's a great matchup on Saturday. A whole bunch of people here telling you beat the hell out of Auburn. I'm going to say it as well. We'll see you on Saturday, Coach.
Look forward to it. Thank y'all. See y'all on Saturday.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all for being here at Rudy's as well. That will do it for this edition of the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. It is presented by Capital Farm Credit. We will set up what is ahead on Saturday as the Fighting Texas Aggies take on the Auburn Tigers. It will be a 2:30, actually a 2:39 kick if there's no slide. We've got a game in front of us on CBS. A little too much information. You don't need to know all that. 1:30 for our St. Joseph Health pregame show. Certainly hope that you will join us. And on that pregame show, Will Johnson, a one-on-one with Isaiah Spiller. Join Dave Elmendorf, Will Johnson, and I on Saturday, all along the Texas A&M Sports Network. Tony O'Neill's the producer of the Jimbo Fisher Radio Show. Kevin Menchow, our engineer. For the head coach, I'm Andrew Monaco. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks and gig 'em. This is Aggie Football from Learfield.